Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, and I'm bringing you, it's my review of One Piece episode 873. And okay, so right off the bat, the one thing I loved, obviously, about this episode is seeing a lot more of a further display of how strong that Sanji's siblings and the Germa are, but even more than seeing how powerful they are, watching this episode, watching this episode in watching this episode and seeing this content in anime form, it reminded me of how hilarious it was in order to see Germa end up being the ones to completely dismantle in order to completely dismantle this basically this whole fleet and strategy that the Mont'Or had planned in order to crush the Straw Hats, and it was one of those things where he was so focused on the Straw Hats that he completely forgot about the Germa. And just seeing everything crumble for the Big Mom Pirates was just epically hilarious to watch, and just how much things were so easily falling apart for them. And I think like a big thing of why I think it was just, and the big thing for me about this, about what makes this so hilarious to me about Mont'Or's strategy just completely and utterly pretty much falling to shit for me, is the fact that it was pure karma in a lot of ways, because if you really think about what I just said, like we could definitely say that pretty much that all of us, and including the Big Mom Pirates, have kind of been underestimating the Germa a bit. I think we can openly say that we've definitely been kind of underestimating the Germa. Like, okay, the Germa are powerful, but they're not on Big Mom level, and that's kind of what the mentality of the Big Mom Pirates were thinking too. But in this case, underestimating the Germa is what caused all this to happen to begin with. Like they completely I think with Mont'Or, he wrote off the Germa as being any kind of threat, and now it's coming back in order to bite him in the ass, because he didn't deal with the Germa when he probably should have. So yeah, I just love how hilarious, how epic and hilarious just this entire episode was, for just how much that things were falling apart, only because of the Germa, I guess you could say. Um, Now, of course, the big thing with this chapter is that all the Big Mom Pirates are told the truth, are told the truth about pretty much Katakuri's defeat, and that is one of those interesting moments, because while it did end up kind of, it did a little bit in order to reinvigorate the Big Mom Pirates like spirits and focus towards killing Luffy. At the same time, it also caused them to grow a lot more erratic and irrational. And honestly, if Brulee's admission had happened even before Germa arrived, I think they might have had a chance at the very least killing Luffy. But pretty much because but again because Germa were already on the scene, it was just too little, too late. So it like, of course, you could call it a bit of a Deus ex, the German in this case are a bit of a Deus ex machina, but if you really look at it, if the German weren't there, I really do think that just hearing of Katakuri's defeat was definitely going to be enough in order to actually kill both Sanji and Luffy in that moment. Again, if the German hadn't showed up, but yeah. So if you really think about it, I think that in that moment, I think there was definitely a legitimate chance of Luffy being killed. I mean, obviously it's not gonna happen because Luffy is the main character or whatnot. So he does have that plot armor, but still, it is kind of interesting to at least think about, in order to think of what would happen if the Germa weren't pretty much there in order to protect both Sanji and Luffy. Would something would the both of them really have been able to escape? Because I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Um, and also, the funniest thing. Also, the funniest thing about this episode for me is that it really didn't. In terms of pacing wise, it isn't like it isn't a great episode. Like the pacing, it really just kind of it really just focused on one thing in the episode. But which is Sanji and Luffy's, which is Sanji and Luffy who are trying to escape from the Big Mom pirates. But the thing, but the thing. But the thing about the thing about this episode for me is that even though it did focus on that one element of Sanji trying to escape and Sanji's siblings acting as their shield at every turn, um, despite focusing on that one element, there was something a little bit suspenseful about this episode from just how much was being thrown at Sanji, and seeing how majority of this was being thrown at Sanji. Like I'm not gonna say I was that my heart was pounding the entire episode, but I will admit that because of this episode, that there were some legitimate moments where I was actually kind of where I was legitimately thinking, where suddenly I see it going, I was taking a little off guard at moments for sure. So yeah, this was definitely this was one of those moments for sure where it was pretty. It was when it wanted to be epic and heart pounding, it definitely got me in that sense. Um, but and seeing how and the other important thing about this episode for me is that I think we can all agree that the majority of this episode was definitely extended material that wasn't in the manga. But with that extended material, one thing I do like that the anime did in the sense of extending this episode is that we definitely got a lot more emphasis on how much that Sanji's family as a whole have grown to kind of have a bit of a silent a bit of a silent respect for him now. While in the manga, it's one of those things where I don't think in the manga I don't think that we ever really got a scene of Sanji's siblings outside of Reiju ever showing respect for him. But here in the anime, we with all this, with these extended scenes of the Vinsmokes of Sanji's siblings doing everything they can in order to protect him. I do like how those scenes definitely gave us a little more closure on what Sanji's relationship with his siblings are, and yeah, because in the manga, I think I could be wrong, but I think in the manga, I think any kind of silent respect that Sanji had with his family, I think it was relegated to pretty much in order to Reiju and Judge. But I don't think I don't think that they pretty much that Oda ever really closed up the relationship he had with his brothers though. So yeah, in a way it was a nice it was a this episode, it serves as a bit of a nice bookend to pretty much to any kind of relationship that pretty much Sanji has with his siblings, I guess. Um, and and yeah, I definitely I can't go I can't go this review without talking about Reiju's moment in this episode where she uses her pink hornet technique. That also turned into her fans from her first moment and definitely that turned into her fans first moment from just in the way she was positioned. And yeah, all I've got to say to that is who knew that upskirt fan service is basically so deadly. The way Razor was positioned, it's no secret that we could definitely see her. I think that would definitely be a moment that basically where Brooke would say, I can see your panties. Like I think we can all see Brooke saying that in that moment. Like that was pretty much what kind of a moment it was for Reiju. But and like I said, she was from just doing some good fighting stuff. But yeah, that was an upskirt fan service moment, true and true. But okay, like in all seriousness though, in terms of the Reiju stuff in this episode, the one thing I did really like did really like is the genuinely touching moment of basically her and basically Sanji's and of her basically goodbye with Sanji, and how it paralleled how it paralleled the exact same in a lot of ways it paralleled it was the goodbye that she ended up that both Sanji and Reiju shared when they were kids, like when Reiju helped Sanji escape. So yeah, in that sense, I do like how it was how basically their friendship goodbye here it paralleled the one they had when they were kids. It was a nice it was a nice send off, but it was a nice send off in between for pretty much for both Reiju and Sanji for sure. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Mr. Crunchyroll. Death Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.